Hey everyone, good morning. I am Priyanshu Agrawal and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now we are going to solve today's Leetcode daily challenge, which is divisible and non-divisible sums difference. Okay, so let's see what is this question and how we can solve it. So in this question, you are given positive integers n and m, okay, and define two integers as follows. Num1, the sum of all the integers in the range of 1 to n, both inclusive, that are not divisible by m. Okay, and num2, the sum of all integers in the range 1 to n, both inclusive, that are divisible by m. And you need to return the integer num1 minus num2. It means you need to return the difference between both of them. Okay, so what you have been given in the question is two integers n and m, and you need to find out num1 and num2 which satisfy this condition, and you need to return the difference between both of them. Okay, so let's see what will be our number. The sum of all integers in this range that are not divisible by m. Okay, so here our range is 1 to n, which is 1 to 10, and m is 3. So the sum of all integers which are not divisible by 3. Okay, so let's see which integers are not divisible by 3, which is 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 and 10, right? And the numbers which are divisible by 3 will be considered as a num2, which will be 3, 6 and 9, right? So we need to do their sum and then we need to return their difference, num1 minus num2. So their sum will be 37 and their sum will be 6, 3, 9, 9 and 18. So 37 minus 18, which will be 19, your answer. Cool. So in this question, you have been given with two integers n and m, and you need to find out num1 and num2 and return their difference. So doesn't it looks quite simple? Like you can just simply iterate in 1 to n and find out whether that integer is divisible by m or not. If yes, then consider it in num2. If no, then consider it in num1. And finally, by the end of this loop, return nums1 minus nums2. Yeah, okay. So let's see. Yes, you can simply initialize two variables nums1 and num2 and start iterating in 1 to n. And if that number is not divisible by m, then consider it in num1. And if this condition is false, it means that number is divisible by m. So add it in num2 and finally by the end of this iteration, just return their difference. Okay. So what will be the time complexity of this approach? It will be big O of n. As you can see, we are doing this one iteration. And as we have not used any extra space, so its space complexity will be big O of 1. Okay, but do we really need to do this even single iteration? In the interviews, you can even ask to optimize this iteration, this time complexity as well. Okay, so let's see if we can eliminate this one iteration as well. So in the starting, let's say k out of n numbers are divisible by m. Let's say among n, there are k integers which are divisible by m. Okay, so for which are divisible by m, we are considering it in num2, right? Okay, so let's see what will be our num2. So let's say if there are k numbers which are divisible by m. So let's say we can find their sum with like sum of k numbers which are divisible by m, right? So we can easily find their sum. How? M plus 2m plus 3m plus up to km, right? Because they are divisible by m, there are k integers which are divisible by m. Okay, and what is the sum of natural numbers? 1 to n, it is n into n plus 1 by 2, right? We all know this thing. Okay, so let's see if we take out m common from this, and now it will become sum of k natural numbers. So we can write it as k into k plus 1 by 2 into m. So our num2 is this. Okay, but what is this k? How will we get to know what is this k? We have just assumed that let's say k out of n numbers are divisible by m. But how we will get to know that how many numbers from n are divisible by m? So k will be your n by m. How? Let's see. So let's say your n is 10 and your m is 3, right? So if you need to find the numbers which are divisible by m in this n, so let's say if we will divide it, you will get 3, right? So it means there are three numbers which are divisible by m in this range 1 to n. Okay, yes, this is true because 3, 6, 9 are only three integers which are divisible by m in this range. Okay, let's consider some other example as well. Let's say your n is 5 and m is 2. So you need to find out how many numbers are divisible by m in this range 1 to 5. So you can simply divide by this. So you will get 2. Yes, there are only two integers in this range which are divisible by m. So n by m will give you the value of k, which is the number of integers divisible by m in the range of 1 to n. So yeah, you got this value. It means you can easily substitute this value of n by m here. So yeah, there is no unknown variable because the n and m values are already given in the question. Okay, so we have created this one equation for finding the num2. Okay, let's see if we can find the num1 as well. Now num1 is the sum of numbers which are not divisible by m. Okay, so obviously from the sum of all the numbers, the num2 is the sum of numbers which are divisible by m. So from the sum of all numbers we can simply subtract this sum, so we will get the sum of all the numbers which are not divisible by m, right? Okay, so this is the sum of natural numbers and this is our sum of numbers which are divisible by m. So we will simply subtract this num2 from the sum of all natural numbers, which is n into n plus 1 by 2. Okay, so here n, it is a known variable, its value is given in the question. Num2 we have already figured it out here. So okay, there are also no unknown variables. Okay, we have also created one equation for num1 and one equation for num2. Okay, so we can simply find the value of num1 minus num2, which num1 is sum of natural numbers minus num2 and then this minus num2, right? Let's substitute the value of num2, which was k into k plus 1 by 2 into m, and it will add up to 2 num2. So it will cancel it out and you will get your final equation as this, which is your num1 minus num2. And here you can simply substitute the value of k as n by m, right? So you have reduced this solution to one-liner solution. You just need to return this value to get their difference, right? Okay, so let's see its code as well. Its code is now quite simple. Let's declare k as n by m and that complete equation, just returning that equation. N into n plus 1 by 2 minus k into k plus 1 into m, right? Now the time complexity of this approach is reduced to big O of n, as it is not including any iteration, and its space complexity is also big O of 1, as we are just using this single variable. So yeah, that's all for this question. I hope you get it. The first approach was quite intuitive and easy, but the second one was a little bit tricky. But yeah, I hope you get it. But if you still have any doubts, then you can post in the comment section. I will surely try to answer them. Till then, bye guys. See you in the next video.